So today we're going to be talking about Valorant's biggest paradox, and that is, how can the best op player in the world not know how to play the agent that was designed for opping? I, of course, am talking about KangKang and Chamber, and whenever KangKang plays Chamber, he does some things that don't make any sense to me. And so we're going to take a look at a range of clips here from a bunch of different games on 2 different maps, and basically pick apart KangKang's Chamber and some of the things that he's doing that don't make any sense to me. But just before we dive into that, first let me tell you how you can get better at Valorant for free. And the way you can do it is by joining the Gosu Academy, because as a part of the Gosu Academy, you will get access to tier 1 coaches, people coaching at the highest levels of this game. You will also get access to the daily 10-man sessions where you will be putting custom games with people of and about your rank who are all trying to get better themselves. The comms will be better than a ranked game. It will be more fun than a ranked game, and it's a great way to actually learn the game in a more structured setting. And as I said, it is free for 30 days as well with anyone who signs up using the link in the description or in the pinned comment. So that means it is free coaching sessions from tier 1 coaches. It is free custom 10-mans with people who are trying to get better. It is free VOD reviews of your games and whatever else you might want from those coaches. And so if you want free RR, then go and sign up for the Gosu Academy today. Now we're going to focus on the defensive side here because that's where Chamber should thrive. And really there's more clips I could have added to this video, but I've decided to give KangKang really the benefit of the doubt wherever I can. And let's start off here in their game against Rare Atom on Sunset. This is the first time that these two teams played. This is actually a game that EDG just completely destroy. They get the one-way up here. We got the Chamber TP over towards A, and they actually come and put the Chamber trap to kind of deep out towards A, right? And then both him and Haodong here, KangKang, they're going to both leave for mid. He picks up his TP, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with what they've done at this point, right? They refresh the one-way to make it seem like we're still there, we're still watching this, right? And they've got the trip there. Now, eventually, the trip is going to get destroyed here, right? But this round, to me, is going to exemplify, like, problem number 1 with KangKang playing Chamber is that I feel he's just too aggressive for playing this agent in general, and a lot of the decisions he makes are just too aggressive, right? And you're going to see that right here, where that trip has been destroyed and time is going to pass, right? He's going to get into this angle just here, and now, you know, there's only 3 seconds left for his TP to come back up. The one-way has now faded, right? So Rare Atom are going to take that time to come past this one-way right now, you know, as Haodong is trying to throw it out, but the timing is just ever so off. And now he's gonna do this.
不过这波来 A 把贵宾陷阱打掉了，狂怒这个距离有点伤，不是很好发挥。是。
Now let's come to round number 4 of this game. And again, this is a half that EDG are gonna win 12-0. But let's take a look at what I think is problem number 2 for KangKang that we're gonna see over and over again. And that is not knowing what setup to use or not having setups ready, right? We're 3 seconds until the round. You see he's got his trap just here over towards A. You see he's going to start playing towards A. But as the round and the barriers drop now, right, we don't have a TP setup, right? So as this time starts ticking and you see he goes up towards kind of elbow, then he starts running back, right? We're at 10 seconds into this round. He's now going to put down the TP. We're 11 seconds into this round and he's now put up this TP, and obviously he hasn't been watching this angle for, you know, a couple seconds, and there's no trap here. There's no one else watching this, right? So in theory, these players could just walk up here and be right on him, right? But after putting that TP down, he's now going to come back towards elbow. He gets on this angle just here. And, you know, now the Prowler starts coming towards him. So he's out here, you know, on his own, on an island. He's part of his TP. But take a look at what he does next.
KangKang 也在 A 两个上伯乐之间的交锋，但这里挨兄弟有点多。漂亮，一号。
Yep, that's right. He comes back over towards elbow. He's in his TP range right now. He goes outside of his TP range, gets on to an angle where, again, if he ever wanted to get back into his TP range, he will probably die, or at least, you know, have a chance to die as he's running back. So even if, you know, one guy did come up here and he gets the kill on him, he then has to move back across into these other guys before he can actually ever TP out as well. He ends up just in a terrible position, not knowing what to do, and eventually dies. But of course, it's still KangKang, and they won this half 12-0, and KangKang went absolutely crazy in terms of the scoreboard on this map. And there was still some really good moments, like this one in round 7.
你都需要去消耗技能，需要去探身位出来看。
感觉明局又要撞到了呀！
哎，主攻直接啊！
哎，要过来玩烟火，要反炸一手保护一下位置。浩东直接顶过来是收掉了 V 吧。而 Smokey 落地是有国兵在的，KangKang直接做了一波 repick，A 点这一波交换又是很亏。
而且浩东剑影直接往后退，根本不跟你在前点对。中路 Nobody 是把对手的上张轴给逼了出来，
并且把 skill 达到一个半血左右的血量，
没有贤者了，血量补不回来。开局进攻 A 点的战术又被 EDG 给接住了。
小身位，这个小身位过点看到了，已经看到信息补烟，
同时补烟，
有专业吗？有专业在 A 点内的 A 点内，看下笼罩到了康康，直接往外传，这爆能器能安吗？
应该是可以装的，因为 EDG 要等人。
但这个爆能器装了之后自己也不太好守啊，
主要是站位展不开了。
这一狙甩得很快，把1号给甩掉了，
而且 Steel 的名狙也被 Steel 的专业技能也被撕了。
Okay, now let's move on to our next one, EDG versus Tracy Sports here. Again, on Sunset, they didn't have much time to have many defensive rounds this time because, as you can see, they're kind of getting rolled. But let's just take a look at this one where I feel like there is some big capital B mistakes in this one from KangKang. So they're actually going to go with that same setup that we saw before, right? Haodong and KangKang over here towards A. They put up the one way, they get the chamber TP out here. He comes and puts this chamber trap down. Down towards A, and then he's going to go and rotate off towards mid. Now, Haodong actually stays out here, but just in a second, just take a look at him there, because the trip disappears. Now, you might have thought that this Omen, especially because he's pinged it, has shot this trip. Actually, no. This is KangKang recalling this trip, and we have proof of that because he has the trip later on in the round to use. So KangKang recalls the trip. And this is a monumental mistake. One, because obviously it kind of tells this Omen that the chamber has left, right? Otherwise, why would you recall it, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But the bigger mistake, perhaps, is this. And that is that when you use this trip as a chamber, you can still be in mid and watching mid and still have the trap up. So KangKang is going to end up in this kind of position back here in mid, and he picks up his trip, but he could have just left it up the entire time. And as we round this round forward, you'll see that he then comes and picks up his TP as well, but ends up in that position in mid where his trip should have still been up, unless Valorant is lying to me. They actually end up in a 5v3 here, and eventually KangKang is going to come back over towards the A site. He starts moving across now, and just to show you very quickly, the trip has a 17-second cooldown. He picked up this trip, okay? It was nothing to do with the opponents destroying it, and he's actually going to come back here over towards A again just now, and Haodong is still there doing these one-ways. You see eventually he comes back across towards A, and again, we're going to see this problem where he ends up in a very aggressive position in just a second, right? The smoke is going to fade, so Haodong is going to get ready to throw his paranoia to stop them next time that they come. They're in a 5v3, I want you to remember that, and in just a second we're going to get KangKang's POV, where again, he has both this and this ready to use, but he's ended up putting himself in a position where he can't escape.
但听到动静，这个暗野推出去，旁边康康是可以立马补枪的。来了，这个 timing 有没有捕捉到呢？
进步来吗？进步来吗？
进步的要推，
暗野推得很好啊！但是峰峰一个惊喜翻腾。
But now let's move on to our next game here against Rare Atom, the second time they played them. This time we're taking a look at Bind, and if you thought Sunset was, had some problems, well then let's take a look at this Bind game. And this one starts with actually the second round where Rare Atom actually go for a force buy here in the second round. And you've got your boy KangKang here. He's chilling over towards Shower, and he's going to actually start by just putting a trip here in Shower, which is absolutely fine. And then, after this happens, he's just going to walk back across and look towards short. Now that's absolutely fine. This is a fine setup, right? There's nothing wrong here going on. But some of you, the more keen-eyed amongst you, might have noticed, where's KangKang's rendezvous? And let's just play a little game this round, shall we? I'll just play it out for you at double speed, and you just keep an eye for when KangKang finally decides to put down his rendezvous.
看什么时候出枪，就看第一枪能不能抓到机会。
Nobody 手里也是只有一把锋刺的，就要看这个 timing 是怎么去。
如果第一波交战没有抓到这枪的话，强行被对面拿到信息就很尴尬了。EDG 完全可以选择往后退的。
两个人直接选择往后去撤了，但是比前点一样啊。如果进攻方给到两个隔断烟的话，他们依然是可以用锋刺的短距离包爆发去抢到前点的。但
我这身后竟然还有人看，
浩东不知道这有人，而且这把对面的距离都还可以，换的那个 timing 被KangKang抓到了。
但现在他刚刚转到 A 小，所以这波弹幕没有运用上。
还好1毫3颗烟都在啊，他们还能再组织一次进攻。
问题来了，什么时候会发现对面强起了？因为刚刚漏枪的是马丁，他只有一把正义，所以 EDG 还没有拿到确切的对面强起的信号。
这把锋刺要拖的时间是比较久的，这里
预防有规避先行，打规避先行，漏了锋刺声音，立马 EDG 就有所预警了。
对，而且锋刺一般不会只起一把。
对，来了，听到了，
来了，只能往前去走了。一个踩雷飞剑，后面的人要来了，原来的对枪，那么多又成功拿下了，这个手里把也只能打出一个1-1。手里爆发能力确实更强，而且这把辽雀好像也掉到前点了，康康知道，于是这次守不住了，他要先加另一侧，两枪头部命中，1号被放倒了。这一把幻影的作战能力会有点强，康康还是被高火力给拿下了，直接忙着传 ，Nobody 被传下了。
And so if you guessed that it would take around a minute into the round before KangKang decided to put up his teleporter, then great guess by you. But why is it taking a minute for you to do what should be so basic for any chamber player? Okay, next one here, round number 15. This is actually the very next round from the round that we just saw before. So in this one, all they have is classics and ghosts and pistols, right? It's not great for them, but KangKang is one off his ult, right? So they decide, okay, let's go and get that ult orb out towards B long. We're going to flash out here. We're going to get KangKang this ult orb, and he's going to then get his chamber ult, right? So now we have a threat in this round. And initially, straight after getting his ult, he's actually going to go and rotate across back towards A. Now this I have absolutely no problem with, right? Like, you probably think like, hey, they know that I've grabbed this ult orb, you know, I've ulted after getting an ult orb, like, yeah, they're gonna know that I was here, right, or maybe down here, so I'm gonna rotate across to the other side instead after grabbing this ult orb, and, you know, hopefully they think I'm B long still, and then, you know, I can be over towards A. But then, as you see just there, you know, this dog comes in towards Hooker, and then he goes, oh, actually, let me go back towards B, right? And this is what we need to take a look at this round. That he is the threat in this round, and he spends the majority of this round rotating. Because once he gets towards B, as far as I can tell, this Viper setup goes up. There's nothing else going on. As we can see, most of Rare Atom are towards B. Other than this Viper setup going up, there is nothing going on. He decides then to rotate back towards A again, right? So again, he's the threat in this round. And he spent the majority of this round just rotating through spawn. We go 1 for 1 here on B, and then he rotates back towards B, of course, as well. So he spent the majority of the round where he was the danger, he was the threat, in his spawn just rotating. Why? Right? Why? You're not doing anything. You were always probably just going to end up in this exact situation because you just kept rotating this round. And I don't understand it. Right, it just doesn't make any sense that, you know, this is the one danger this round. He actually manages somehow to sneak out towards long here. I'll just show it to you quickly. You know, don't know how that happens, but it doesn't make any sense to me of why are you constantly rotating, and for some of those rotates, essentially off of nothing, right? And eventually he's going to end up dying to that guy just there who's almost toying with him and dies to the brim. Okay, next one here, round number 17 in this game, and it's important I show you the buy, because this is a buy from EDG, right? They are trying to win this round. And, well, KangKang, he's only got a classic, so he's probably going to use his Headhunter this round, but there's one thing I want you to just quickly notice here, and that is this, right? This trip, because the round is about to start, but the trip is not down. Okay, so we got this triple setup here over towards A, and the trip is not down, right? Why is our chamber trap not down on defense on a round that, you know, we're full buying into? You know, we got some low econs on these guys. We need to win this round. Don't know, right? Smoggy ends up getting the first kill there down short, and now let's play this round forward, right? So there's still no trip down on the map. You can see our Viper is just praying that they don't come towards B at this point. And eventually here, KangKang is actually going to re-explore Shower completely on his own, right? He's going to come in here and be brave for the team and actually manage to clear this area. And he gets to here, right? And he gets to here, and eventually he's going to see, like, yeah, there's no one there. And at this point, put your trap down. Okay, maybe you made a mistake not putting it down earlier. Put it down. Just put it down here. Oh my god, what a wonderful trap that, you know, maybe they won't come and see. You know, what a wonderful trap this week. Put it down. Put it down. Put it down. Your sky is rotating. Your brim is going to rotate now because you're feeling pressure there. What if someone's lurking up short now? God, I'd love if we had a trap here and maybe, you know, you could watch one lane and your trap will watch the other. That would be amazing. Imagine if we had that capability. Wow, that would be amazing. Eventually the B exec comes in from Rare Atom. You know, it doesn't actually end up mattering this round, but it just goes to kind of show, like, why is he not putting his trip up? Like, what? I can't see a single reasoning why he wouldn't, and it's gonna get worse. Because let's come to the very next round of this game, and now KangKang has his op, but he still has this trip, right? So let's see what he's done, or what he wants to do with this trip this round, right? We're gonna have this little setup here. They're gonna have 3 down towards B long, 2 into Shower, so full extremities here. He's still got that trip. Oh, I don't see it on the map. Do you? I don't see it on the map. You know where a trip might be good here? Like when we're going for this, you know, full kind of extremities play. Well, I mean, a trip in here, surely, you know, we could have put down at any point. You know, the barrier starts here, don't forget. Like, we could have put this in here, but we just haven't. And why have we not? I don't know. And that causes a problem for our Sky here, where, you know, our Sky has to kind of keep watching this. But maybe if there was a trip there, and hey, we haven't had anything down towards B long, you know, if there's a trip in here, you know, I'm this guy, I could probably leave. You know, I might even leave. Like, I'm having to waste flashes out here, you know, really for no good reason. And, you know, I probably could have just left this whole time and be halfway to A at this point, you know, and checking if anyone's lurking down short, because these guys have gone all the way up Shower. But I guess I'm a little late if I'm this guy now, right? I'm just going to have to get there a little later than perhaps I would. Oh, they're execing. Oh no. I could have been here, but sorry, guys, but I'm not. Because, you know, we didn't have a trip here in Hooker. And, you know, now they exec onto the site. And, well, let's see how it goes for EDD, shall we? We kind of go back and forth. Oh, the spike guts down. Maybe if we had a Sky there at the start, that would have helped. Wait, we're going to use the trip. Hold on. Nice shot by KangKang. Nice. There it is. Oh, it didn't matter. It went off. Chichu died anyway. Didn't matter. And we're just going to end up saving here. So again, why are we not using this trip? I could not tell you. Now, you guys aren't going to believe this one, but this really did happen. This is the very next round. We've watched 3 back-to-back rounds at this point. My man still has this trip. And look, this one's an eco, right? The rest of the team don't have much. So if you're not going to use it in this round, I guess it makes some sense. But this is the 3rd round in a row where, again, the barriers will drop. There ain't no trip on this map. And there won't be a trip in this map. And you know, in this round, it doesn't really matter too much. ED, you're just going to get rolled kind of here, you know, down towards B long here. And so it doesn't really matter for this one. Honestly, that much, it didn't matter. But at the same time, it's like, how have we gone 3 rounds in a row playing Chamber on defense side of Bind and not put down a single Chamber trap? How is that even possible? But again, it's KangKang. And I don't want you to come away from this video and think like TMV hates KangKang. He thinks he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he can play Chamber because he still does stuff like this. And eventually after a timeout, you know, somebody must have told KangKang, hey, can we get a trip? Because here's round 22 and, you know, hey, we've got this trip. We're going for this triple setup again here down towards Belong. And we've got the trip that just makes sense that why didn't you put that down before, right? Just like the obvious stuff. And then KangKang is still able to do stuff like this.
看一下 EDG 这个回合手里还是有明狙在的，但是康康感觉这几个回合明狙都没有能够找到人去狙，他人要往前顶了，看到了这枪没有能够成功的命中，手里的希望，
但是回身的兵法想要过来抓机会被摘到了。
刚想来看一眼啊，明。
Okay, and then very last one from me here. This is actually in the grand final here against Trace Esports again for the 2nd time. We're back on Sunset this time. And I'll be honest, in this one, in the grand final, I thought KangKang, for the most part, played a very good game. I thought he was much more disciplined. I thought, you know, his setups made a lot more sense. There was just this one round, round number 5, where it doesn't make any sense. And we'll see it right here, right? Because, again, your boy has a trip. I'm just going to point that out. He has a trip. That's all I'm going to say. He has a trip, right? But if we take a look at the map, you know, the round's about to start. There ain't no trip out, right? And it doesn't make any sense as well for the round that they end up going for here because he ends up in B main and he's got his TP away just there, right? And you're going to see what happens is they actually shut the door. You know, we'll see Trace come and destroy that later on in the round. And these guys just leave, right? So they're just happy to leave here with KangKang, you know, with the door shut here. You know, him and B main, they're happy to, you know, just play kind of the rest of the map with 4 of them, right? Which is, again, absolutely fine. You know what might help with that? If we put a trip in here. You know, that might help as well. Because, again, this door can get destroyed from back here, or it could get destroyed and they're right on top of it, right? And that doesn't really tell us much, right? If they just destroy the door, it could just be them, you know, one guy just destroying it on its own here. It could be them right ready on the doorstep to come through, and we don't know. You know what would help with that? A trip. A trip would tell us that. And you know what's even worse here for KangKang? Is that because now there's no protection of this TP doesn't make a lot of sense either, right? Because if they did just come in this way, you can't TP here. This isn't a TP you can use. You just end up trapped here. And if they come and do a B split, you're in a lot of trouble. Guess what happens?
破零给烟，给你一点压力，把中路控住。现在 EDG 要去猜了，你到底是打破电门转 B， 还是继续来提这个 A？
效果立竿见影。EDG 这一次强侧就放错了，他放在了 A 区。
他看不到，现在要看康康了。对，康康这个位置大概率是个1扛多，脸还有2个人。狙一个闪转思路倒是能走一下，差点看到手臂，但丢丢没有探到他的位置，轻松的侧身，康康其实还是瞄高打低。
但是中路来
不及了，有个感觉队友能不能救到他？球球救了他一命，那自己的确实没有甩到，但是球球已经要接完了。
And so those were just some clips of KangKang playing Chamber. And I hope that from those clips you can see that there are some clear issues that KangKang has whilst playing that agent. It's not that he's a bad player, it's just that when he plays Chamber, for me, one, he's probably too aggressive and ends up, you know, outside of his TP range, you know, quite often. And we saw that happen quite often as well. You know, he doesn't like being tethered, 1. And 2, he's just not in that sentinel mind frame of this is my setup and this is what happens if X happens, right? He's just not, he doesn't play the game like that, right? He plays the game much more free, much more fluid, much more off the rip. And that, as we saw, ends up with a lot of situations where he doesn't have his trip down. He doesn't have his TP down, you know, or whatever. Or he hasn't thought about what if they do this, right? Or the coaching staff or the team hasn't thought about, you know, what happens if this happens, right? Will KangKang end up in a bad spot? So for me, there's some clear issues here with KangKang playing Chamber, and I hope that this video highlighted that. Again, it's not that he can't learn how to play Chamber or, you know, whatever, but to me, it's very clear that the way he plays the game just isn't suited for it right now.